Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be taking a look into a possible significant severe weather event that could be happening later next week from Texas all the way to the East Coast. And we can also see right on here day one, there is even a chance of severe weather across Southern Florida later tonight and tomorrow. Now this is going to be all severe weather on this episode, and we'll talk about the winter side of things because this there's actually going to be multiple systems with this here, so there's going to be a lot to talk about. But let's first talk about what's going to be happening right about now and tomorrow is Southern Florida. There's a slight risk for severe weather for kind of places like Key West and Miami there. Even Fort Lauderdale too. You also got that marginal risk there just to the north. Places like West Palm Beach there as well. The main threat is going to be there could be a chance of a tornado there. There could be some damaging winds. There's no hail threat at this time for those areas. There could be some small hail as well. Day two, very similar scenario. Slight risk for Southern Florida, places like Key West and Miami. Yeah, pretty much for those same areas. And also a little announcement here. The SPC did release their update on day two. Now, in day two, we had to look at the bottom of the list here and see what their percentages are. But now we're going to have stuff like day one has. So you can see right up here on the top left, we can go a little bit more detail what day two has to say. You can see there's a little bit of tornado threat, there's a damage wind threat, no hail threat from it. Day three does not have neither of those things. But maybe in the near future it probably will have them. Hopefully. Now let's go ahead and take a look into the possibility of a significant severe weather event. This is going to be happening in 3 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Now, this has been around for a little bit now, for the past couple of days. I just have not made a video on it yet. And this was issued today by the SPC. So we're going to start off with day 5 here. Now keep in mind, this happened last night, so this is linking it to different runs. So you can see there's a slight risk across portions of Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. It includes places like Little Rock, Shreveport, and Lufkin, Texas as well. That's not the only day. Let's move on to day 6, which is Wednesday. We got a slight risk extending from Louisiana through Mississippi into Alabama, even for the panhandle of Florida as well, at least for the northwest tip of Florida. It includes places like Birmingham, Mobile, in New Orleans, Jackson, and Alexandria. Man, I cannot pronounce that. Um, Louisiana. We're not finished yet. Let's move on to day 7, which is Thursday. We got a slight risk. It includes for portions of Florida, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. It includes places like Atlanta, Columbus, Dothan, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Savannah, Charleston, and Columbia, South Carolina. What are the threats? Well, all threats is on the board, at least for Tuesday. I do not really see a large hail threat for Wednesday or Thursday, which is pretty much for the deep south in the southeast. However, on Tuesday, I could see us having a large hail threat for around places like kind of around in Texas and Louisiana. Now let's go ahead and take a look into my forecast here. So you guys are probably going to say that this is a little bit different from the SPC. Yes, it is. Now this is days 5 through 7 all together. So this is all made into one map. Now this is my prediction where we can see most of the severe weather. So what's different about mine is it's actually a little bit further north. It's actually a little bit more into Texas there. And it's pretty much the same everywhere else for the most part. And I'm expecting for the SPC to change up their forecast as well. So this is a 15% slight risk area. There's no enhanced risk with this. So this is a 2 out of 5 in the scale. And I'm not really seeing an enhanced risk being issued at this time, but there's going to be some severe weather for for some of these areas. It includes states like portions of Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. It's actually going to be happening for all Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, even South Carolina as well. Even goes for portions of Tennessee and Florida as well. Now, what are the main threats with this here? Well, like I said earlier, for the hail threat, I think it could be staying in Texas and Louisiana. Everyone else can probably see the chance for some damaging winds and for probably for a few tornadoes. Not going to see strong ones at this time here. Right now it's a little bit far, it's actually far out at this time here, so we cannot really give you a lot of details on this system here. We do have multiple models to look into, but I'm going to show you two of them. The other two I have some disagreements with. But first of all, let's go ahead and move on into the European model. We're going to start off with Tuesday, which is day 5. And again here, we got some warm temperatures across the deep south. Gets upper 60s up in Arkansas. That's a pretty above average. 70s in Louisiana, upper 60s in Mississippi, got mid 60s kind of going on in Alabama, even 60s as far north as Louisville, Kentucky, with at 61 degrees, even Springfield. Look at this temperature change. If you go to Springfield, Missouri, it'd be 62 degrees. If you go up to Kansas City, 35 degrees. That's a big temperature change there. But anyways, let's go back to the severe weather. Tuesday doesn't look that bad. So this is system number 1. This is not going to be the one causing a lot of severe weather. Your new low pressure should be starting to develop back in Mexico. There's low pressure number 1 by Paducah, and I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Here comes to your new low pressure system coming from Mexico. We got some strong to severe thunderstorms in progress around Houston, Lufkin, Shreveport, and Lake Charles. There. And the Cape Valley so is going to be the impressive part of all this here. So we kind of back up. Excuse me. Um, Look at these Cape values, especially along the east coast of Texas. You got Cape values between 1,000 and 2,000. That's more than enough. So that you got a large hail threat. If we kind of move on to Wednesday afternoon, look around New Orleans. They got Cape values about 1,500. And some of these higher Cape values go as far north as the Tennessee-Alabama state line around Huntsville. Let's move on to around 5 o'clock here. Now, things get a little bit disorganized around Wednesday into Thursday. It's not that impressive, but at least, but it's still enough K for some severe weather. And Thursday, now you got a trailing cold front. That's going to bring in more of a tornado and damage and wind threat, and that kind of goes along for Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, perhaps Virginia as well. Virginia has a chance of severe weather as well with the system by the indication of the European model. There's not a lot of stuff to look into. It's not going to be windy with the system here. Probably into Thursday here. You can see wind could be gusting up to 63 miles per hour. Those are some strong southerly winds. Look at these temperatures here. It's very mild. Look around up into Washington, D.C. That's pretty above average, 56 degrees. Look around New York, 55. Atlantic City, 53. Central New Jersey, showing 60s, which is pretty warm for this time of year. It's February, so pretty above average temperatures. You got a big cool down be coming behind the system as well. You also do have your third low pressure system developing as well. You can see there in South Carolina. So we got 3 different systems to watch here. The first one's not going to be that bad. The second one, the third one is going to be the ones to watch. And Let's move on to the GFS model here. So this is uh vorticity. This is your energy up in the atmosphere. And there's not going to be too much energy in place for vorticity wise. Here's a front coming in. Your trough is actually pretty far back. If that trough does catch up, we can probably see the severe weather event could be worse. But right now, the trough is actually staying behind that front pretty far back. And it seems like it tries to catch up on Thursday there, but that's quite a bit of energy. You can tell by your cold front here, there's some areas of energy for some thunderstorm development. Now let's take a look into the 500 millibar winds. Now, this is going to be one of the big effects for the severe weather event. And the last time we had a significant 500 millibars was back in January, and severe weather was sparked as far north as Kentucky, even had 8 tornadoes up here. And we're not the only areas that has some strong severe winds or 500 millibar winds. I believe that's your low level jet. It went as down as far south as Mississippi, Alabama, as far north as Indiana and Ohio. Yes, the winds were pretty strong at the time. And for this system right here, it really started to amplify when it reaches around Wednesday. When you start to get those yellows showing up, that is some strong low level jet winds. And bam, there you go. There's even 130 showing up if you zoom in. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. And it really starts to really come up around Thursday as well. 133 knots. Yeah, that is some strong 500 millibar winds, and that can support severe weather as well. That can help build up the storms. Cape doesn't really matter when you got strong 500 millibar winds like that. Last time, like I said, happened back in January. Kentucky up here, we did not have a lot of Cape, but the 500 millibar winds were crazy. We got winds at 500 millibars about 150 knots, which is a lot, and I mean a lot. And that supported damaging winds and tornadoes throughout the area. So don't like don't just look at Cape. You gotta look into the 500 millibar winds as well. So 500 millibar winds can be a big factor for this event. Let's move on to the Cape values here. So looks like it doesn't have it on here. Yeah. So let's take a look at surface space Cape here. Now this is also energy as well. This is going to help thunderstorms build. And it's kind of like the 500 millibar winds and the vorticity. This is all energy components. And basically for the Cape, all you really need is over 500. You got some severe weather kind of going on. At least for this time of year. Like in the summer, that's nothing. And let's kind of move on here. So those blues and bright colors there, that's about 1,000 to 2,000 Cape, which is a lot for this time of year. For those gray colors, that's about 100 to 1,000 Cape. So you can see some of that Cape goes far north as the Kentucky and Tennessee state line. So there might be a strong thunderstorm somewhere in that area up there. And you got the shear place too. They can support for a tornado threat. And we'll look into some forecast soundings in a moment. But it seems like that Cape really does miss the Carolinas there. But let's take a look into those forecast soundings. We'll go down to around Texas there and see what the forecast sounding shows for us. Yeah, that's a pretty good forecast sounding right there. Not a lot of shear, which is good news, but I can see a large hail threat in this area here. You can see for the significant hail parameters, it's 2.5 inches of diameter, which is some pretty large hail. The possible hazard type is a tornado, at least for, honestly, do not really know what all this stuff is. It's pretty confusing. And down here, the tornado threat's actually pretty low for everything. There could be EF0, EF1, EF2, maybe an EF3 tornado as well. But again, the threat's pretty low. So let's kind of move on a little bit up north where there's a little bit more shear. There's 547 there. Marginal severe, but again, well, actually the shear is actually pretty low. I think that's a little away from the front, but there's a little bit of a hail threat there as well, by the looks of it. But again, I can see some severe weather there as well. We're going to go down to Florida here. This will be the last one. A little bit tornado threat. The equinox is way up there, about 13 kilometers up in the atmosphere. There's a supercell threat. There's actually some shear in place. And let's take a look at two. I don't know if I really want to make this video here a little bit short. Let's take a look very quickly at the energy holistic index. What this could do is raise the tornado threat. And this is basically energy for some rotating thunderstorms or supercells. We're not going to look into the supercell composite today because it doesn't look that impressive. And for this to be significant, basically you just need over a 3 or 4, and you can have a chance for some significant tornadoes. But at this point here, I do not see strong tornado chances at this point here. There could be at least an isolated one, but overall, I don't think there's going to be a strong tornado threat with this event. But overall, this is far out, first of all. So things can change a lot from now till then. And the agreement looks to be in place for some severe weather, at least for damaging winds and a few tornadoes. Large hail threat will stay back in Texas and Louisiana. At least this is just my thinking. We may have an update tomorrow if major changes occur from like the SPC or anything like that. But anyways, guys, this is all for guys. Oh man, I'm losing my words right now. But anyways, guys, this is all for guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If y'all did like this video, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you never miss an upload. If y'all guys got questions about this, you put in the comment section down below. I answer you guys questions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.